I think that Britain's intervention with Somalia is no different to the intervention that Britain have tried to impose on Syria, on Libya, on Iraq, on Afghanistan, on Chile, on Argentina. It all comes under the rubric for me of neoliberalism, of Western imperialism, and the idea being that these countries exploit and expropriate the resources and the minerals of countries that are far more richer than them resourcefully and use it for their own benefit, whilst at the same time oppressing and exploiting the people of those countries. And in fact, even in Africa now, what China started to do are basically what Europe have been doing since transatlantic slave trade for 600 years, the expropriation of minerals. Basically, my personal contention is that without Africa, the West doesn't exist. If Africa was to just lose all it's the richest continent on the planet by far, and it supports the world, but at the same time it's the poorest. So something isn't quite right there. I think 600 years of history, so before neoliberalism was even coined, the expropriation of minerals, of resources, slave labour, all these things that the West, from 15th century, from Columbus discovering America, from the importing of people from Africa against their will, the transportation, the biggest transportation of slaves ever in recorded history. That says to me that all that's happened over the different epochs is that they've changed the guise, they've changed the words as what they use to brand what with democracy now. It's never been democracy. The word is just lovely. It looks lovely in a dictionary, it sounds lovely when politicians use it, but what it actually means is something completely different. So there is nothing in my mind that says what these guys do is designed to liberate, is designed to bring peace, is designed to be equal amongst the people. It's designed to create an imbalance, to purposefully create poverty, and an imbalance within a social structure, a socio-economic structure at the same time, and infuse racism and prejudices and divide. I come from, my parents originate from Cyprus, Greek Cypriot, and obviously the colonial history of the island, as well as what happened in 1974, all play a big part in kind of the psyche of Greek people and how they respond to Europeans, how they respond to the people from Greece, and how they respond to Turks at the same time. Now, everyone sees what's happening in Greece. Cyprus as an island now, because of tourism, has actually become quite wealthy. But as with regards to politics and social awareness of the history of the island, there's still some kind of there's levels of, there's a blank within what was actually going on within that time, especially among the young people. For me, I just see what the colonial mentality does to people that come from that. I've got uncles and grandfathers who profess that Britain actually did a good thing, coming in and colonising when they beat the Ottomans in the 19th century, to come over and do what they did. So none of these things in my mind have shown me that things come out better at the end of it. In any form of intervention, any form of illegal, because even now in Cyprus, it's still illegally occupied by Turkey. It's not it's the same as Israel and Palestine. It's not a recognised state, although Turkey claim that they have got, that there is Northern Cyprus, it's not. And I think that's what a lot of people need to clear up. And as you go on, you find out through the different countries, when you study their history, the same method is always applied. Nothing changes. This is what I said at the beginning of the conversation down there, what I think about Somalia. I think that it parallels exactly what happened in the 60s in Chile. And it's just different politicians, different rhetoric, but the ideology is always the same, always. As people that live in an imperialist country, in an empire, we as a people, as a collective, the only way we can stop Britain's intervention in Somalia is by recognising what's actually happening, and to come together without using this idealistic kind of, we need to, this thing that revolutionaries, because everyone's a revolutionary these days, but the problem is that we pay taxes, and we go and we do our 9 to 5, and we work and we put petrol in our cars and we pay our mortgage. So really, if you're going to do something, it has to be done. Everybody say, I'm not going to work. then what happens? The system collapses. If everybody says, I ain't paying my tax, what are they going to do? Bring court martial law. Cool, it's on. And it's happened in Burma. It happened, you saw what happened when the monks kind of stood up and protest 2007. It's happened all the way from the Nicaraguan revolution to the Haitian revolution. It's happened all over the world where the people have got together and said, I'm not on it. And it works. The problem is here is we're comfortable. And certain struggles are more fashionable than other struggles, if you see what I'm saying. So we're called to hype, and we're called to say, yeah, you know, like, I'm not happy about this, but then come Monday, you come back to your 9 to 5, and your landlord's saying, where's my rent? And you got to pay. So the system, in all its genius, the capitalist system, traps us, and it makes us impotent to actually being able to respond to anything with revolutionary kind of force. See what I'm saying? And that's kind of the only way to get out of it is to oppose that, to stand up to it, and to break the mold. We live in the most privileged sector in the world. We have a duty as people with books, with the internet, with social network, to come together, right, and to do something for the greater good. For people that our privilege comes at an expense. It comes at the expense of people in Somalia, of people in Iraq, in Afghanistan, and in Mumbai. So we have a duty to those people to just turn around and just say, I'm not just gonna go and wave my flag on the weekend and go back to my work on Monday. It ain't happening. And some people are blinded by this rhetoric that Britain and America are the paragon of civilization. You know, they invented it, they propagate it. Places where they go, they instill it within the people who, by nature, are less superior, are less intelligent, are less sophisticated, don't really have as much history. And it's completely wrong. It's perverted. History is a perverse subject, because when you actually go into it, you find it's the complete opposite. Up until 1850, from Mesopotamia to Africa, all these other countries, all these regions, these continents excel. And it was from the Moors to the ancient Egyptians, to the Arabic mathematicians and scholars, that what they contributed to European science development. If you look at their history 600 years ago, from Somalia to Eritrea to Ethiopia, Mali, 13th century, one of the biggest, richest empires on the planet, yet it's totally negated in mainstream history lessons. Why is that? Industrial Revolution could not have happened without the black and brown people of the world. So when people try and tell you that intervention is good and these people need to be civilized and they're savage and they're barbaric, that is Western supremacist rhetoric doing what it's supposed to do, dehumanizing and making us think that these people, their life isn't worth as much as what a guy from Devon, his life's worth. And that's the problem, is that when we study our history and we see the contribution that we as a collective, people outside of Europe, have made to European development and civilization, we find that we're actually the people that are supposed to be the most recognized. But like I say in the poem, we only oppress people who are powerful. And there's a reason why oppression is so much money and emphasis and energy put into keeping people down. There's a reason for that.
Of course there is. Yeah. Good. Thank you very much, man.
Always, man. Thanks for the chat.